Welcome to the Bend Don't Break podcast. We are powered by The Source, Bend's locally owned media company and weekly newspaper. This podcast is our eddy in the rushing waters of local journalism. We are glad that you're taking some of your time to listen to us chat with the people who shape our local community. Support us through our member program at bensource.com.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, RE/MAX Key Properties, a family-owned full-service real estate brokerage specializing in residential, luxury, commercial, new construction, and ranch and land properties. Their new state-of-the-art facility at 42 Greenwood Avenue is a modern, collaborative space and the new home of the Bend Don't Break podcast recording studio.
I'm Aaron Switzer, producer of this Bend Don't Break podcast and publisher of The Source. Thank you for joining us. Today we are with Lace Thornberg. She is passionate about keeping people connected to nature. As Central Oregon LandWatch's communication director, Lace helps people who want to get involved in environmental protection efforts find opportunities to participate in local land use advocacy. A Midwest transplant who found her way to Bend after a decade plus in Seattle, Lace has worked for conservation groups based in Washington, Oregon, and California and led initiatives for natural history museums. Lace, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
I don't want the word participate anymore in these intros. I barely made that word. Lace, where in the Midwest?
Where in the Midwest? I was born in the suburbs of Minneapolis in a little town on the banks of the Mississippi River. And then I grew up just south of Winnipeg, Manitoba, on the U.S. side of the border, but like an hour and a half from Winnipeg in a town called Walhalla, North Dakota.
No, I'm prejudiced for people from the Midwest.
I think that's understandable.
Yeah, the work ethic is real.
Coast.
They're real.
It took me like 15 years to get rid of that.
It's a hiring edge that people have. I look for it. Yeah,
and then you have to be careful because the rest of your coworkers are like, "Why are you still here?"
That's right. So, Lace, you moved to Seattle. Is that where you got your environmental passion sparked?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. In college, I liked the outdoors, but it wasn't something I thought I could work in. But when I went to Seattle, one of my first jobs was for a hiking organization. Okay. And I was just blown away that you could have a job.
Only in Seattle.
For an organization that was about hiking.
Right. And were you I don't imagine you were in communications when you started, but...
I was like the office manager / development coordinator / It was really small at the time. The group was Washington Trails Association. It's quite a bit bigger now. And I had a writing degree, so I knew I wanted to be in communications. I knew I hated writing. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to like work with writing, but not do it as a living. So yeah.
It sounds very similar to Megan with a lot of slashes and a lot of slashes and progress. So, how long were you in the Seattle area?
I think like 2002 to 2017, so about 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And then why hike it over the Cascades to these beautiful, drier climes?
Yeah, why? That's the obvious answer that everyone has, the sunshine. I love Seattle and I love the ocean and I love that all the western side of the Cascades and the moss and all of that. But it was easy coming from North Dakota. I was like, you call this winter? Like right. February, there's flowers blooming. Right. I was not like dissuaded at first, but like 15 years later, you're like, what is this deep, dark feeling I have? That's right.
Sometimes I have this nightmare that I've moved back. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I get here?
No, Bend is lovely. I remember when I first decided I wanted to move to Bend, I was on a drive back from Crater Lake National Park, and I took that scenic route, and there was a sign that said Bend 35, and I was like in the middle of like really gorgeous country, and I was like, are you kidding me? And then like Bend 15, and it's still gorgeous. Yeah, right. And so then driving into town, I remember I got coffee at Strictly Organic, and incidentally ended up working like a block from there later. So that was great. But I was like, okay, we're moving here. We're gonna make this happen. I'm moving here.
Yeah. How did, so what was the catalyst for the move?
I started looking for jobs in Bend. And actually it was a very strange, like professional coincidence, I think. I was working for a publishing company in Seattle that had conservation books about all of the American West, from the Arctic to California, but we didn't have a book about Oregon.
Okay.
And I was looking for an area that was in need of, like, the books that we always talked about or published were about areas in need of better protection.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking around Oregon, like, what are the active conservation campaigns? And I found the Oahe Canyonlands campaign. And I found this woman, Corey Harlan, who was like seemingly heading it up, and started kind of following her and looked at the organization. And that's how I found Oregon Natural Desert Association. And I was planning on pitching them on a book, but then I saw this like job open up, and I was like, this job looks like one I could do. And I just said I wanted to move to Bend. So that's where.
So did you start with, you started here with Onda?
Yes.
And then moved over to LandWatch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, you've been with good people since you arrived.
Pretty fun people.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp. Yeah.
From 2017, I think even LandWatch has been changing and morphing their mission. They've gotten broader, I think is a fair way to say it. What are some of for a lot of people who have been here for a while, LandWatch was outside the urban growth boundary, doing water and forest preservation and litigating if they needed to make that happen. But it's a different organization now. How would you characterize the way that LandWatch is growing and moving?
Yeah, I would say we're really lucky in Central Oregon to work within such a robust complex of environmental nonprofits and groups. But I think there's still so much work to be done. And so I think LandWatch sees the opportunity to expand into certain areas that are all adjacent. And whenever you work in environmental work, it's all biodiversity and conservation, and ecosystems are all interconnected. So all the work always connects. Like our urban growth boundary work connects both on the city and town side and on the rural land side. And it affects water, and it affects, do we sprawl into our wildlands or not? So I think it's natural that your work kind of evolves and takes different shapes. And I think just bringing more programs online and doing as much as we can with the community support that we have would be the reason for it.
You're doing you do a lot of work in areas like Sisters, and you work on a land bridge. Maybe talk a little bit about that project.
Oh, the Bend to Settle Lake Wildlife Passage Initiative. Yeah, very exciting project. I don't know if you know this, but Highway 20 is the most dangerous stretch of road in the state for wildlife vehicle collisions.
Did not know that.
300 to 600 crashes with deer or elk.
That's almost one a day.
Yeah, exactly, or more. And so you maybe know too, like how successful the Highway 97 project has been at reducing animal collisions.
Well, I know it exists. I don't know how successful it is. I've seen it.
I crashed my car on that road before those were built.
Right.
I know there were a lot of deer down there before. I just saw a herd of elk run across 97 the other day. I don't know why they weren't using the crossing.
I would not want to hit an elk. Yeah.
No. So we're working on kind of, replicating crossings, or, bringing more crossings to that area of Highway 20 between Sisters and like the Settle Lake Resort. We also, as a state, Oregon has far fewer wildlife crossings than the rest of our Western counterparts. Yeah. So we have a lot of catch up to do.
I was just on a road trip coming back from the Olympic Peninsula, and ample crossings there, and pretty crazy ones where they went, rather than under the road, they're, going over the road with they did these large bridges, and pretty steep but short. They look cool.
One thing that a lot of people think, and it's obvious that the reason you should build wildlife crossings is so that we don't hit the animals. And that's the benefit to us. We're not going to be in a car crash. But it's also very important for genetic diversity.
Yeah.
We've got all these isolated populations of animals that aren't able to move and migrate to, find different mates. And so that's an important reason. And then also just for connecting their like summer and winter breeding grounds. It's almost like when the highway system was built, they weren't thinking about that.
It seems like they bifurcated the dating scene for the animals. Yeah.
And their summer and their winter homes.
Well, and they like to run, so I got to imagine they don't want to be hemmed in on. And I've seen the places they were kept out of in Lapine, and they definitely got the wrong side of the road in some of the situations.
It's true.
I think the thing that's most surprising to me, considering how long I've watched LandWatch, is the work that you guys do in the Central District, which is an urban kind of work with the city. And you guys have been instrumental in working on and helping get the bridge and helping revitalize that area. What compels you to want to work in that area, that realm? Seems icky.
District.
Seems icky.
Icky?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's really fun.
I mean, if you're coming from working in sisters and wildlife and someone says, we thought you might work a little bit better down by the bottle drop on 2nd Street. I guess it depends on the bent of the person, but for me,
it's not as much about grass and butterflies and that kind of thing. But I think there's obviously a strong environmental connection to it, because as we can fill in and grow upward as opposed to growing outward, we protect all of those natural spaces. And then if you think too about the connectivity work for cities, if you're keeping people closer to schools, shops, businesses, entertainment, all the things that they want to do, they're not driving as much. So that's really key for climate-friendly approach to living and building too.
See, that's the long-term perspective, working in that environment, as opposed to, I imagine you get to go to sisters and play with the butterflies and
I wish that was.
I want to be on that side of the office.
That's fair. That's fair.
But how do you feel? You've gotten your work with the Bend Central District. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've been very successful working with the city. It seems like it's been a good partnership with the partners there. Why do you feel like you've had that kind of success inside the zone, the city?
I think I could really attribute that. We've had great people in that role. The person in that role currently is Corey Harlan, and I think she's just such a straight shooter. She's talking to everybody face to face. She does her homework, gets the data crunched, looks at the numbers, and then she knows like what's politically viable and what's important. And she talks to everybody to kind of hear their concerns and see what their questions are. And so I think she can really bring forward reasonable ideas. And I think that the LandWatch approach tries to be as reasonable and accommodating and thoughtful as we can be in any situation. So I think I would attribute it to a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I can imagine. And they're a coffee-prone crowd as opposed to the butterflies. And what are some of the other projects that you guys are currently engaged in?
Oh gosh, so many projects. We're working on water efficiency standards and trying to make sure that water in our region goes where it needs to go and is applied in the most beneficial and useful way. We have a lot of work on our hands on the public lands side, with lots of directives coming down from the federal government that we do not feel are in the best interest of Central Oregon's forests and
it's safe to say the environment has shifted with regard to public lands.
Shifted would be the gentlest word you could use. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Like right now we're soliciting comments on the roadless rural roadback that's been proposed. So hopefully we get a bunch of Central Oregonians to speak up for the roadless areas in our area, which there are quite a lot of, like almost 200,000 acres in Central Oregon would be subject to the potential for more roads. Yeah. Which I don't know if you've driven in the backcountry before. There's plenty of roads already.
Too many. Too many. They've been nonstop, and they don't go away here. It's one thing if you're over in the valley and stuff can grow back. But
yeah, exactly. They
no,
don't
you
grow.
go here, you can see, oh, this is a 1960s road, and it looks like it was made yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
we don't have the money to maintain that anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so we don't need any more of those.
At the federal level, I mean, things are pretty litigious. And I can't imagine that isn't the future for a lot of these things that the federal government has come into the states with. And you guys have always played a pretty key role in advocating and fighting for what you and your supporters believe in. Have you guys girded yourself for that kind of future?
Yeah, I think we're ready for the possibility of what lawsuits we might join or initiate. If they would have to be really relevant to Central Oregon, but yeah, I think that's out there for sure. And we have more legal capacity now than we used to. So yeah, I would say yeah.
And on top of all of this, you also are getting into the event business. So you're launching a new Livable Future Forum. Speak a little bit to that. How many of these forums are we going to see? What do you envision for the forum?
Yeah, we've hosted events in the past under a number of different names and types. Last year, 2024, we hosted our first Livable Future Forum, but we ran it as kind of a small pilot. We rented open space event studios, which was a great venue, hosted 3 events there, talked about local issues, sold out all of those. So there was clearly some hunger to kind of have that kind of events. And we did it in like October and November. I thought, oh no, it's going to be too dark. Are people even going to like come out at night? But they did. You always worry about that. But this year we wanted to expand it a little bit. So we have 3 events again, but we are bringing in speakers, not just from our local area like last year, but instead a little bit more regional and national focus. Yeah, we've got the Tower booked, and we have OSU Cascades at Ray Hall, and then we're back at Open Space for one of the events as well. So,
I love open space, but the capacity can be limited. So especially when you're bringing people from out of area, there's just such a better demand. And
but it's a fun, really like intimate space too. So that'll be nice.
Yeah. Who are some of the people that you're bringing?
Should I just walk you through them all?
Yeah, love it.
I'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
Our first event is on October 30th, and that is with Chuck Sams, and he is, I guess, best known as the first Indigenous National Park Service director. He was the just former director under Biden, and he is Cayuse and Walla Walla. He lives in Pendleton.
Wow.
He is an amazing person, has a background that you think, how did you live all these lives? And like, you're not that old. So I don't know, like he must have started when he was 4, like, doing all these cool jobs and taking on these roles. So he's going to talk about the rights of nature and kind of that legal theory that ecosystems and species and bodies of water actually should have inherent rights, kind of like our fundamental human rights. Among many other things.
It's a great, I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so I followed the similar thing with animal rights. It is a long time for people to wrap their heads around the idea that something other than a human has rights. And I've recently seen it, and I'm definitely diving down a hole here away from your livability forum, but with octopus, they started talking about, I don't know if you saw this, but they started talking about octopus farming. And for whatever reason, people could get their heads around the idea that was wrong, and that they're smart enough that you don't pen them and process them. And so they had some success overseas with pushing forward the idea that the octopus has rights via their intelligence. What you're proposing in this forum is fascinating, but man, that's a leap for people.
That's okay. That's what we're here to do. Leap.
Sounds like a compelling presentation.
Take some imaginative leaps. I'll segue to our second speaker with octopus. Have you listened to Remarkably Bright Creatures yet? It's very fun. It's about octopus. It's kind of a nice, light story. In any case, our second event will be on November 13th, and the presenter there is a woman named Michelle Nijhuis. She is a High Country News editor, and she's also written for the New York Review of Books and the Atlantic. I think people would know her work. They've seen it in National Geographic, many different outlets. But she's going to be walking us through 20 or so pieces of environmental literature. So we'll talk about
that's cool.
the kinds of books that shift people's mindsets and shift their way of thinking and make them be more environmentally inclined. So I will turn it to you then. Would you recommend a book that all Central Oregonians should read?
No, I don't want to. I'm not going out there.
We will ask people. We'll ask people with more notice than that.
Tell them to bring the book, swap the book. You have a book swap.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Roundabout Books will be there to sell books, and we will have some ideas of like sharing ideas for books. But I like this idea of just bringing the book. That's a great idea.
Bring it.
We're going to do that.
You read it. Give it away. Yeah.
For sure.
We've long been a republisher of High Country News, so I don't know if we've republished her work, but especially when we were first starting out, they were integral in helping the source.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. They used to run. They used to run a lot of pretty controversial opposite side of the perspective. You know, they ran an article that was pro-wolf at a time. I mean, anti-wolf, you know, like why you want to cull wolfherds at a time when people were super working to get them preserved, and sparked so much. I can still remember all the letters and conversation I got, and I was like, well, you want to know both sides, so I'm sure she'll be a great speaker.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great talk. And then, so that's November 13th. That's at Open Space. And then our final talks, we'll have two on the same day. December 4th, we have Kiliii Yüyan, who is a National Geographic explorer. And his presentation is going to be called Guardians of Life. And it's about his work going all around the world, collecting stories and images from indigenous communities that are having success preserving biodiversity and working for climate resilience.
I'm so glad you said success.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that are no longer going to be, speaking, or you see so many of those things from National Geographic in particular, because they've been recording all that stuff. But that's great.
This is going to be an extremely hopeful presentation. And I think the idea is that if you come and you watch this and you see communities maybe with like very little resources having great success, you think, well, what could we do here? What can we really accomplish and solve here? We can do a lot.
And that's a series of 4?
So it'll be, I guess it's 4 events total, 3 different events. And then there's on that December 4th, it's a 3 p.m. matinee and 7 p.m. evening. But it'll be the same talk. So you're going to count that as 2? It's 2. It's 2 events. It's 1. It's also 2. But we wanted to do 2 so that people can come during the daytime if they want to take the bus, or if they don't want to drive at night or whatever. Then that way we can reach that many more people. And we're also going to have that one be a very community-focused event, the 3 p.m. talk. So if you listeners work for or are part of any kind of community organization that would like to apply for some free tickets to that event, we will be giving away a bunch of those. So, that's great. Yeah. So we could do a giveaway for you. Yeah. That'd be wonderful. Some awareness of the program. Great. Yeah. Well, we are at the end of our time together. Okay. It flies. That went very quickly. What are you? So I imagine you are already imagining success with this series, and you're planning for another one in the spring. We will probably do it in the fall again. Oh, okay. In the spring, we're too busy with the legislative session. Yeah. Well, you never know. You form a little event department, and then they're off and running on their own. I speak from experience. Every other week. Right? That's right. And you just start booking them. Yeah. Well, thank you for Lace for being here with us. Thank you. So, if people want to get tickets, where can they go? You should search the internet for Livable Future Forum. Central Oregon LandWatch Livable Future Forum. It's also going to be in your event calendar in the source. You can go to the source. Go to the source. We will help you. We will help drive the tickets. So great. Well, this has been the Bend Don't Break podcast. If you like what you heard, go to bendsource.com
and become a Source member and help us promote and helps these great forums succeed, like the Livable Future Forum. And we look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you. You've been listening to the Bend Don't Break podcast, powered by the Source Weekly. To read, hear, and see more of what we do, go to bendsource.com.